Hey guys, what's up? It's Jose here, sitting with BC, the legend. I've been actually a part of his Modern Success program now for almost 2 years, and I decided to come over here to California for an event and had the opportunity to introduce my man BC to my audience. So he's actually originally a professional basketball player. He's now doing real estate and many other things. So, I mean, in that regard, I know that you were a basketball player and everything. I guess we'll just go straight into it.
Yeah.
Going from that transition to real estate, from being a basketball player, what are some of the things that you kind of realized that you needed, or not needed, but you used from developing those skills in basketball to real estate?
How you doing, Chief? First of all, let's see, man. Because you're doing it too, right? We're doing something different. We're doing something entrepreneurial. We're not doing a 9-to-5. We're not following the normal path. And when you do that, regardless of where you start from, basketball, school, just graduating high school and doing it straight, you're entering a new field, right? And this is new to us. We don't have all the sales training and all the hookups and the connections. Some people do. They're born with it. We didn't. So now that's like me starting basketball all over again. But I'm going to need a new set of tools. You get what I'm saying? So with that said, now people, where they mess up, most of them, where I didn't, is I looked and I said, okay, what traits do I have as a human being, as an individual already, that I forged for the last 18, 25, substitute your age, whatever that is, that I bring to this that can help me. Because not only did I look at real estate through that to help me choose real estate, but I also said, okay, this makes sense. I can take some of my qualities and do well in real estate, right? Me being so disciplined, being the first one to show up at the gym every day, being the last one to leave, being hungrier than everybody else, being super dedicated and committed no matter what. People are going on vacations when we got time off from the team, and I'm staying on campus and getting the keys from my coach and just working out. I remember that vividly. So that was the type of work ethic. So now when I look at real estate, I say, hey, we don't have to climb a ladder. We don't get paid per hour. We get paid per production.
Right.
There's no ceiling to my skill set. I don't have to go through like classes and courses and get certifications. I could just get good at selling, go out, and if I sell 4 houses my first and second month, I get 4 checks.
Right.
Cool. So that's the way I looked at it. Yeah, I had some weaknesses, we all do, but I saw more opportunity than anything else because I had developed certain skills and qualities through my basketball career that I could look at real estate to help choose it, but then I knew I could do well. You know what I mean? So it was an easy choice for me. But instead of looking like everybody else where they're like, I'm new, I'm young, I don't know anybody, and they only look at what they're missing and what they don't have,
right.
I looked at what I did have. So I looked at the opportunity differently. And that's a simple shift in your mindset. That's it. Because I still had the lacks like everybody else. Yeah. I was still young, didn't have a fucking suit, didn't know anything about sales, was supposedly not a people person. So I had the same things that I get questions, and I'm sure you do too, because now you're doing stuff on social media, especially at your age, because you're a lot younger. I did the same thing. I said, okay, that already is. I can't change that.
Right.
But I can look at what I'm doing good and then write on that and use that as momentum. That was it, dude. That was it.
Now, how did you go about determining? Because, dude, one of the questions that I get a lot is, a lot of people are coming to me like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know my purpose. Or I don't even know my strengths. Like, some people are not even aware of what they're good at.
Yeah.
Like, how do you become more in tune and aware with yourself so you can start? Because it doesn't necessarily even have to be about a specific career or anything. It just has to be, more about knowing yourself. So going on that and the journey to aligning more with yourself and your values, what are some of the things that you would say helped you understand those strengths?
Yeah. Well, when I started off reading a lot of books, like Tony Robbins and that kind of stuff, and getting into the pickup world and Arash and Vince and all that, I really started seeing that this is the term self-analysis. There's a very big lack of that in society, meaning everybody's too focused on, social media, everybody around them. I need this, I need everything external. But then if I ask people simple questions, what are your ethics? What are your core values? They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's something intimate about you. How do you not know that? So people have lost touch with themselves. They're too caught up in what this next celebrity just bought, what they're wearing, who they're talking to, who they're dating. It's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Pay attention to your life. That's where it starts. Because then you'll start journaling, you'll start saying, okay, what are my thoughts about money as an example? And remember, we were talking about that.
Right.
And I had the programming of money's the root of all evil. That was my initial thought when I was asked that question, right?
Ask that question, Bobby.
So I wrote it down, and I was like, shit, I'm somebody who's trying to be successful and make money and increase my income. Yet one of my core values subconsciously is, I think money's the root of all evil. I need to change that shit. But had I not done that, read that book, gone to that event, maybe I'd still be stuck today, maybe making a lot of money and losing it all, and in major debt, or just not making money at all and wondering, why am I stuck?
Right.
So it's getting more in tune with yourself. But to people, that's boring. I don't want to journal. I don't want to find out what my core values are. But that's the stuff that you got to do. So when you read about the Buddhas and those kind of people, they were just more in tune with themselves. It's not that you don't do anything and you just meditate all day.
Right. But
take 30 minutes, 45 minutes a day, and write down what you want to do and what you're focused on. Because then that gets you more in tune with that. And as far as the strengths and the weaknesses, man, once you start getting more in tune with you, that'll come naturally. And we know when you start thinking of scenarios, maybe some of you are socially a little bit more comfortable than other people. You'll go out and you'll approach people and you won't hesitate like most people. Good, that's a strength. You're a little bit more ballsy, we can say. You have a little bit more courage. You're a little bit more comfortable socially, which most people aren't. Maybe some of you physically are better. You're a little bit stronger and faster than the next guy. Maybe some of you logically with math, you're really good. So you're good with the numbers, so you're a numbers guy. Okay, with that's when you can start going out and taking a look at different things and experimenting. Not watching videos and DMing people on Instagram and Facebook, but going out like I did. I had friends who were doing mobile detailing, washing cars. I said, hey, can I go with you for half a day or a day just to see what it's like? I would do that. I was going to different offices in real estate to check it out. I was going and actively checking these careers out and these different things to see, do I like this or not? Then when I came across real estate and learned a little bit more, I said, this is it. That switch went off, or that light bulb went off. This is it. Because you start looking at what you do well, what you don't do well, and this opportunity.
Right.
So it just made sense. And that's that aha moment people will have. But instead of doing that, what are they doing? They're on their fucking phones like this and, I don't know. I've already seen 6 Bugattis today. So then they'll message me, hey, bro, why'd you get a Lambo? Everybody has one. They're in that synthetic world of social media instead of being here.
Yeah.
And that was one of the focuses this weekend is be here.
Being
here.
present, yeah.
Yeah, not in the phone or in your mind like, oh, well, just do something here. Once you start interacting with life, the answers will be given to you, but you have to interact with life. And that, to some people, is so foreign when you say that, they're almost like scared. Wait, you mean I have to go talk to people? I have to go interact with other human beings? No way. And I'm like, shit, dude, that's where the root of the issue is.
So you think that mainly people don't want to interact or socialize or just put themselves in situations where they can expand? Do you think it's one because of social media, or like what would you say, like one step? Because I know you said journaling and everything.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of things there.
Yeah.
So I mean, with all of that, I'm sure that somebody would be able to figure out exactly what it is that they want to do.
Absolutely. There's so much, dude. You look at school and how we're brought up. We're not taught social dynamics and social skills.
Yeah.
We're not. We're thrown into school, and then you remember when I think back of school, it was very cliquey. It's like, oh, I want to be part of the cool kids crew. I was a basketball player, so I automatically was popular or whatever the fuck it's called. So I didn't I didn't have to do that, right? But some people, the band guys, they struggled because everyone's like, oh, you're a fucking geek, you're in band. And some of those people were good people, but because they were in the band, socially they were kind of excluded and shunned, At the same time, we look at the process of doing something new and someone's like, well, I need to get a mentor. But then they're caught up in their phone and they're not good with social skills. So when they're out in the environment where they could even meet that mentor, they're too fucking scared to talk to people and interact and network and then meet that person and put themselves in that position to get a mentor or learn from them or be a part of their program or team or whatever it is. So it goes down to that root of, these are things we're not taught.
Right.
So you're going to have to take responsibility and say, hey, I need to teach myself these things. Then that process, and we all know is scary. It's not exhilarating and fun to knock on a fucking stranger's door or make a cold call and they're like, why the fuck are you calling me?
Yeah.
It could be shocking to people, but you have to put yourself in those positions where you're uncomfortable and do something new to attain that skill set, because it's not going to come easy. It takes work. Anybody who's in our business of real estate or any business, where you're starting from the ground up, you have that period where it feels like, fuck, man, like that dude, the statue where he's like holding the world on his back. You feel like you're pushing that, like, God damn, it's not fucking moving, and you're pushing it uphill. One little slip and it rolls back down. You're like, fuck, I got to start over again. So it's that feeling. But that's the type of, pressure you have to be under, like the blacksmith heating up the metal and then hitting it. First it's just a chunk of metal, but after he hits it for a while, it's a sword. Now it's a deadly fucking weapon. That's the same way we are. We have to be forged like that over and over and over. But that vital skill set of socializing is the key, I think, to a lot. And that's that code that you can learn that will give you a lot of opportunities. Because imagine if the person that you need to meet in a room is there and you have the skills to approach them or get in front of them and talk to them.
Yeah.
How much would that be worth to you in that
huge,
moment? I'm
huge.
like, that's the key. If I could give you that skill set, how much would you pay me?
Hell
you know?
yeah.
And people are like, oh man, I'd give you the world for that, you know?
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's huge right there,
Yeah.
because that is something that they don't really teach you in school at all, actually. So I mean, going into these situations, because obviously, based on what you just said, it sounds like you're stepping into these boxes that are maybe bigger than you, and in some points, or you're feeling uncomfortable. In other words, what is the mindset going into these boxes? Like, because now that you're aware, obviously, and everybody in this video is going to be aware, if they're not already, that for you to grow, you have to put yourself in these situations. What is the mindset going and approaching that situation and being in that situation?
The mindset is, I'm okay with everything. I'm okay with everything. Meaning the struggles, the successes, and everything. I'm not, what people do is they get into a new field or a box. He's referring to something I was talking about yesterday at the event when I talked about different boxes, right? If we get to it later, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
Basically something new, a different area. You jump in. What people do is they try to put these expectations. Well, I'm going to try real estate, but I don't want to deal with rejection.
Yeah.
I don't want to work too hard. I kind of want to do it part-time. And they start putting all these stops on it where it's, okay, I'll dip my toes in the water, but I ain't going to get in. When hey, you got to fucking jump in. Otherwise, you're going to dip your toe and be like, oh, it's too cold. And then your mind gets crazy and you don't get in. So that was the main mindset. I want whatever's at the end of this so bad that I'm willing to accept whatever comes with this territory, the good and the bad. And we know, the polarities. You have the good and the bad, the two sides of the same coin.
Right.
You can't experience success without failure existing.
Right.
Otherwise, you don't have a reference and know what it is.
Yeah.
Right. If the sun never set, we wouldn't know that the sun was rising and the sun is up.
Right.
Because we don't have the opposite. And that's where people come in and they're too like, okay, I'm going to be in the box, but I'm only going to be in this corner of the box. I'm not going to fuck with the other 3/4 of it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be in this corner, in my safe space.
They had that false impression that once they go in that box, it's always going to be okay. It's always going to be happy. And I mean,
here's another example real quick. When it comes to dialogues and language, look what YouTube is doing as an example, right? Before, you could go on the platform and regardless of who you are or where you're from or how you spoke, how you discuss certain topics, your language and all that, it was okay. It was an open platform.
Right.
Now everybody's so fucking triggered from everything, especially stuff they don't like, that they're so offended and they complain that now YouTube has gotten to the point where they passed that Children's Act, where you have to see it, because I'm sure you did it on your channel too. Yeah. So now in itself, YouTube is becoming like a safe space. Right? Now I get it in that specific scenario, sure. I don't want, a 10-year-old kid seeing some gruesome shit. That's fucked up. Right? We have to have some sort of barriers there. But the fact that now someone gets penalized for expressing themselves, or we can't speak about certain subjects and this and that, you see, now we're dealing with that exact same scenario we're talking about. Right? Because that person who's more evolved is like, okay, cool, I might come across that video where they cuss. But what if that person who cusses that you complain about and refuse to watch has the answers to everything that you fucking need?
Yeah.
But because he said fuck one time, you're like, oh, I'm so offended. I can't listen to that. That's fine if you don't prefer to listen to that language. But the answer might be right behind that. But because you're so, I want to stay in this corner of the box, you can't experience it all. That's the best way I can kind of relate it. And I see how that trap is even being made, like on a platform like on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, I need a shield against everything else. I only want to look at this, Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, dude. And one of the things that just reminds me of is like people that are watching me. I'm doing a little bit different than everybody else in terms of real estate.
Yeah.
I'm not just doing real estate and wearing my suit all the time.
Yeah.
Like having that picture where you were talking about like the boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you think a lot of people just want to portray a specific image that was already created for them? Is it because of maybe insecurity, or maybe they just want to be categorized as the average person? Like, what is it really?
Well, there's a lot, man. We were discussing it like all weekend, especially off camera, but one of it is conformity, right? Like most people are followers, they're not leaders. Like we were saying, that recipe, you know, it's like, well, Mom, why is the recipe like this for this cake?
Right.
You know, I look at these other people and they're putting 2 cups of sugar. You're only putting 1. What's going on? Well, that's how my mom did it. Okay, well, Grandma, how come you do it? Well, that's what my mother did. Okay, great grandma, why did you do that? Remember?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that one day when I gave her the recipe, I didn't have 2 cups of sugar, so I just used 1. So when you trace it and you question it and you analyze it, you'll see, fuck, the only reason is because she didn't have enough sugar that day and the store was closed.
Yeah.
But everyone else thinks it's the recipe, but they'll never give you a reason. It's just, oh, that's what we do.
Right.
So a lot of people, hey, why are you going to school? Well, what else am I going to do? It's like they don't look at it. That's why. So now when we get into real estate, people are like, oh shit, what am I supposed to, they're already operating with what am I supposed to do?
The frame.
So it's okay, I'm supposed to wear that suit, get a briefcase, speak like this, walk like this, drive this type of car.
Yeah.
Why do you think every fucking realtor has a BMW? Well, at least in California. Right? I used to door knock all the time and be like, you're a realtor, huh? How'd you know? Drive a fucking BMW, guy. You know, like you could see it. So that is another manifestation of that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I have money to buy a car, BMW. When I guarantee you, those people don't want a BMW, most of them. But it's like, well, you know, I'm a realtor, I have to, and that's what you'll hear. That's that example. So lack of critical analysis, and then with that, like we said, once you become a little bit more aware, you have a new set of responsibilities now, and your world changes. And a lot of people don't want to accept the heat that comes with doing something different like I did, because you're going to get criticized. People are going to say, well, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck? You're not going to go to school. You're going to get into real estate. What's going on? And you have to deal with that pressure. And a lot of people don't want to deal with it. But dealing with that pressure, there's the opposite end of it, which is the reward, which you're starting to experience.
Right.
And everyone unanimously says it's worth it.
Yeah.
And you see that in every fucking interview, but people still won't do it. But everyone's going to be confronted with that moment of, okay, am I going to do it?
Yeah.
Because then, you know, your mom will come, what the fuck? I heard, you know, you're telling your dad that you want to do real estate. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
You have to be able to step up in that moment and say, yes, I'm going to do it. Or you back down and live like everybody else does. You know? So, crazy, man.
Now shifting it to emotional, because I know that a lot of the times when people are making these decisions, they feel like they're making the right decision by not making a decision that they should make.
Yeah.
Like, what are some ways to identify if the emotion that you're given at that moment is correct? And when you're doing these certain tasks that you have to do, like say, like for cold calling, prospecting, following up, what are some ways to just kind of put the emotions to the side whenever you don't feel like it? And it all goes to discipline. So I'll let you.
This is what people need to understand, right? And in a little bit that I can explain it here.
Yeah.
You have logic and reason, and then you have emotion. The emotions that you feel are a programmed response in your body and of the mind, which isn't us. Right? I don't want to get too fucking crazy with the talk.
Of course.
But if your body detects this possibly might embarrass me, like a phone call, because when you look at the phone call, your mind is already racing from a survival standpoint and saying, okay, what are some possibilities here?
Yeah.
And of course, the mind, because it's geared for survival, is going to look for something more negative. So it might think, might get told to fuck off. I might get my ego bruised. So it gives you that emotion of fear. And you're like, but your logic and reason needs to say, I'm not going to die. I want to feed my fucking family. I want to make money. This is something I need to do. Will I maybe get embarrassed? Sure, but that's a part of this process. But I've dedicated myself to doing this. I gave my word. I have a plan. And I know it works through logic and reason because I've studied other people. They've, you know, laid out the blueprint. I know this works. So it's a constant juggling of that. But everyone operates so much on impulse and effect instead of cause. Yeah. You know? Yeah, it's like, well, I don't feel like doing shit today. I'm just going to stay home. Yeah. That's succumbing to your emotions. So if people want to start reversing that, you need an understanding of it. But two, for a day as an exercise, anytime you feel an emotion or you start having that voice in your head, start writing it down. And you'll see how much of your operating mode is emotion versus logic and reason. You know, so if you get up, as an example, and you say, I'm going to wake up at 5:30, I'm going to follow my schedule, that's living based on logic. Right. Because it's your own will imposing itself.
Right.
Versus, you wake up, I feel like sleeping more. You hit the snooze button. That's reacting based on emotion.
Yeah.
You see? So now you'll see where the scales are. If you do that exercise and 80% of the time, 90%, you're going on your emotions and you see that and it's real to you, you're going to be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But people, that's that self-analysis that people don't do. If you do that exercise once, it'll become very clear. Because nobody's perfect. I still react to my emotions sometimes too. But I guarantee you that scale is like 90% logic and reason and like 10% emotions, which is why I'm doing better. Because that's what separates the guy that shows up every day and keeps doing what he's supposed to do.
Right.
Because he's like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I committed to this. This is my goal. I'm supposed to make calls because that equals sales.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to knock on doors because that equals appointments.
Yeah.
But why do we not do it? Scared, fear of rejection, some sort of emotion.
Yeah.
Emotion, energy, and motion, right?
Yeah.
And cool. So that's just what it is. There's no, people think you're going to say some line to get over it. Right. But you just need to be in action, man. The more you're idle, not doing anything, the more you're in your head. The more you're just like moving, the less your mind and all these emotions fuck with you because you're in action.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same thing with the fighter. They don't feel the emotion of fear and adrenaline and then stop. They start swinging and fighting and getting in the same thing with me playing basketball. I was nervous as fuck every game, but actually that helped me. It made me more sharp because I got that adrenaline. The same thing. I would tell that to people who call too. You should be happy you're getting nervous because it makes you focus in more and you're sharper. You have that adrenaline going.
Right.
You're super sharp and aware, and it's actually an advantage. So, but you got to get in the action, man. But that exercise, if everybody does that, big eye opener.
Yeah.
Big eye opener, dude.
So what I basically got from that is, well, I got a lot from that,
Yeah.
but summing it down a little bit, basically what you're saying is putting the emotion on the back seat and putting the logic in the front seat and just riding it out. And would you say that eventually it would get easier, even though
what people are trying to do is they're trying to eliminate and not feel certain emotions,
right,
which are impossible.
Yeah.
That's what makes you human.
Yeah.
And they're there for a reason. Imagine if you couldn't feel adrenaline. What if a fucking lion comes in here? Hey, what's up, lion? Give me a hug. You're gonna get fucking killed.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. However, that's ancient technology.
Yeah.
So now when I go to make a phone call and I feel that same emotion, I need to have my logic and reason to say that's DNA programming from fucking 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Why would I stop myself? A lion isn't gonna jump through the phone and bite my fucking face off, right? So I need to be smart here. But again, we're conditioned all the time with advertisements and TV and all that other shit to just impulse, right? The way they subconsciously influence us, like that thing I put on Instagram a while back and in the MS group. Remember after the new year, resolutions were made to be broken,
and the okay was red,
bold, bigger, and in red.
Yeah,
that's subconsciously communicating it's okay to break your New Year's resolution. Now, whether you're thinking that when you see it or not, it's influencing you on a subconscious level. So now all that, and that's just one example I gave you guys. That's everywhere with the colors, the sounds. So that's happening constantly. So if you're not actively using your logic and reason every day, it's getting weaker and those influences are getting stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so people are operating so much on that it becomes a little bit more difficult to flip that.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm living consciously.
Yeah.
As an example to everybody watching this, when you drove to wherever you drove this morning, as an example, do you remember that drive if it was more than 10 or 15 minutes, or was it all a blur? There you go. You weren't aware. You were listening to the radio. You were just unconscious. So if anything on the radio, any sounds, any words came out, they literally were given to you as a command. And your mind is recording everything. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So imagine years and years of layers of that.
Yeah.
Now when you suddenly want to show up to the office every day at 5 or 6 and make calls, you wonder why it's so fucking, why is it so hard?
Yeah,
why are my emotions working against me?
Yeah.
Because they've been programmed for fucking 20, 30 years to do the opposite of this and be safe and be comfortable.
Yeah.
And sit at home and flip fucking channels.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
when you put it that way. It's like everything we do, we just have to be a little bit more conscious about it, just because there could be something in your ear that's constantly saying the opposite of what your intentions are in terms of getting that specific result, and that may be what's, maybe tightening the chain.
Absolutely,
on you
and
making
a little 10 or 15 minute interview, we're not going to break this whole subject down
them,
of course, but it would be a matter of now progressing and chipping away at that every day.
Right.
So maybe the first day I'm going to go and just make, 10 calls.
Yeah.
Just make 10 calls. The next day 15 and 20 and work my way up. I'm not saying you have to suddenly show up 300 calls a day, 200 doors a day, and that's it, or you're a bitch,
Right.
Like, hey, I could do that in the beginning, but I have willpower and discipline that I built through basketball, so that muscle has already been exercised.
Right.
Some people don't. That's the cool thing I like about athletics is I've built some of those tools over time. I've sharpened that sword for fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
So now instead of just dribbling a basketball, I'm making phone calls and going door to door. Easy carryover. Same mindset.
Right.
Same emotions you go through.
Right.
Same, I don't feel like doing it. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a different, field. Instead of again, instead of being on the court, I show up, in the office.
Yeah. And I think like many people could actually relate to, even if it's not sports, something that they've been either passionate about or that they've done, that they can transmute
Absolutely.
that energy.
Playing the guitar, anything, man. Maybe some people are card players, right? And having that discipline when you have that good hand and not show it on your face.
Right. Yeah.
That is discipline, right? That's being smooth. That's being calculated. That's being strategic.
Right.
That's a skill set.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to make this too long, so I have like 2 more questions now.
Sure.
In terms of sales, because a lot of people, well, for me, my opinion, sales is the best way to make, obviously more money than being attached to that hourly job rate where you're getting paid per hour, per salary. In sales, you have the opportunity to make as much money as you want as long as you put in the work.
100%.
So going into an industry, let's say, of real estate or sales, like what are some of the skills that you would say that are most important to work on? Because it's not just, reading the scripts and just following what everybody else is following, but what are some of the things that you would at least look into going into that industry?
Right. And for people who don't get that, aside from professional athletes, actors, and people who are celebrities, sales is the highest paying job. Besides that, there's salespeople who make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and that's available to people. A lot of people don't. They think sales is like, okay, the guy who sells cell phones at T-Mobile, who's making salary plus commissions. I'm talking straight commission. Okay, people who make millions. Oh man, there's so much we can talk about when it comes to this. Sales is a science. Sales is an art form that can be learned by anybody and everybody. I don't care what size, shape, or color you are. It doesn't matter. You can learn this. This is a code of certain words, certain things, certain ways that we're wired to respond and be attracted to things and repelled from certain things, right? You look at the delivery as an example, right? That's something I would focus for people. If I'm going to give them any tips, it would be focusing on everything that isn't the words. That would be my main piece of advice. So as an example, I could say fuck you to somebody 2 different ways. One, they might try to fight me. The other one, they'll laugh. Nah, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
They'll laugh. I'm like, hey, fuck you. Hey, you got a fucking problem? You got a problem with me? Yeah, right?
Yo, Paulie.
Same words. Same words, different delivery, different result. Same words. So it's not just a script. How about your body language? If I'm talking to you and I'm looking down and I'm trying to like speak enthusiastically about something, I'm like, man, I'm so excited, bro, about this, and it's gonna be great. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He looks depressed. Yeah. Versus if you're using your hands and you're excited, you're smiling, like, yeah, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Right here. I got it right here. Yeah. You gotta buy it. That's more persuasive than this one. That one's not gonna sell. Yeah. So that's where I would tell people to look, because that's where I looked. And I started getting the leg up over everybody else, because everybody was like just looking in that box of real estate and the script, and that's it. I'm looking at NLP, I'm looking at hypnosis, I'm looking at body language, negotiating skills, why we move our eyes certain way when we talk, the delivery, tonality, what certain tonalities stand for. Yeah. That's what I was looking at. Delivery, how to refine your delivery, going to Toastmasters, and which I would recommend to people to work on your public speaking and speaking in front of people. Yeah. And on stage, which scares the shit out of people. Yeah. Right? One of the biggest fears, public speaking, right? Because it's the fear of judgment. Getting that out of your system so you just don't give a fuck. Because that's liberating. Because then you're not worried about you. So that would be my main recommendation to people as far as if we're going to work on this language of sales or just selling in general, because everyone runs the other way. Right. I get the questions, give me that script. What's that one line? It's like, it's not about that one line, because I could say the wrong thing the right way and I get the result. Yeah. The same scripts everybody else fails with, I use and I succeed. Right. Why is that? That's the question that people should be asking.
Right.
Not, oh, give me a different script. I'm using the same script as you, dickhead.
Yeah.
But I'm getting the result.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you ask me, wait, how? I'm using it. It's not working.
Yeah.
The script obviously works because I'm getting results with it. But everyone's like, well, it's not working. Can you give me another script? What? I gave you that script, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not working. Okay, then I'm a piece of shit then because I'm apparently not using it. You know what I mean? Like, we use it.
Yeah.
I fucking put videos of using it and it works. Like, what the fuck? So that would be my recommendation, man. Otherwise, it just opens up a can of worms. People are looking for the next easy thing, which is how people are wired.
Right.
I don't want to work. Oh, I got to follow Bryan. I got to make calls and hustle and actually work. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Let me go to this guy who just says you can fucking advertise and pay money and people come to you. Yeah, but when the person comes to you and you can't close the fucking appointment and qualify them and get them to sign, what do you got? Nothing. It's fugazi.
Yeah, doesn't exist. Now, in terms of that's a great a great perspective on that. So those are a lot of tips, and I'm hoping you guys really take advantage of this video because this guy Bryan, he's one of the guys that are really successful in not just real estate, but in many other aspects in life. You could even just research his channel. But in terms of the last question I wanted to ask you was in terms of structure and calendar and schedule. A lot of people think that when you're following a calendar or a structure or something, that you're not having enough freedom in your time. And yeah, it's crazy because they think that like, oh, well, now you're not open to doing whatever. One of the things that you would say to that?
Okay. Look at the top people in every field, regardless if it's real estate or sales or not.
Yeah.
You look at the people who, like a Buddha, right, who's spiritual. You look at, a musician. You look at an actor. You look at a salesperson. You look at everybody.
Right.
Business people. The top of the top, they follow structure.
Right.
Right. Discipline is one of those virtues that is absolutely necessary to achieve the top of anything, because it implies that there's structure and you have, like we said yesterday, a code of behavior.
Yeah.
Discipline, code of behavior. I got that from the definition. If you look it up, code of behavior. So I'm going to behave a certain way, and being disciplined is one of the most difficult things for people.
Yeah.
So that is a manifestation of I don't want to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Because what's behind that discipline and that structure? All the success stories we hear about, because they all say that.
Right.
I followed a schedule. I had things set. Yeah, I had some flexibility in it to do whatever the fuck I want. But more often than not, it was structured. I knew what to do and show up every day. And I took the thinking out of it. It was make calls, do this, read, take my cold shower, go to yoga, just look at the top actors and athletes. Same thing. I was extremely disciplined. But see, it's that gives you the reward of then being able to do whatever the fuck you want. Because through the years that I've been doing and following the structure, I'm close, if I want to just leave everything running itself, which I've set up, and just doing whatever the fuck I want. So there was a sacrifice of structure of years that now will allow me a lifetime ahead of whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
But see, that price has to be paid through discipline and structure to get there.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
there.
Yeah, it would be like, imagine if the laser beam tells me, I just want to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a laser beam. It's focused and concentrated on that one point, right? Just like your focus and your attention. If you want to get better at anything, if you want to manifest things, like people say, the law of attraction. If you want to activate the law of attraction, it requires that pinpoint accuracy and focus on your thought and your action to produce that result. Not, because then that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Your results are going to be whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So whether we talk from a sales perspective or this esoteric law of attraction shit, it has to be focused and concentrated for you to get that result. Otherwise, it's random, just like the day that you want and the life that you want. It's going to be random. Right. Random shit is going to happen. And who likes that?
Yeah.
Who likes that? Nobody.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of everything and the people that are watching this video, I'm sure that they're going to want to tune into more of your content because the stuff that you produce is amazing. And plus, being on the Modern Success program itself, I mean, I have to say it has definitely changed my life and transformed it in many ways, because I actually made a video about it. Like, it's a domino effect of going into something that really helps you when you're making a specific decision. So in terms of following you or like finding more content about you, I mean, where can they find you?
I'm everywhere, man. If you just look up my name, Bryan Casella, the @Bryan Casella, that's all my handles for everything, you'll find me. Like I'm fucking everywhere now.
Yeah.
I think I'm so deeply embedded in Google, it's crazy. Yeah. I'm like one of the old school mafia guys. I'm there. Yeah, you can find me.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, it's awesome. Thanks for doing the interview.
Of course, man.
And Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you watch this, watch it again, watch it 3 more times, because it's compact literally with so much information that is going to help you in your career, in life, taking it many other places. So thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, man.
And catch you guys in the next one.
If you got any questions you want to ask, put it in the comment section.
And the comment section, like, subscribe, all of that. All right?
Peace.